Okay, in fifth grade, they had this thing called DARE, Drug Abuse Resistance Education, right? When I was in fifth grade, I didn't know what any of that stuff was, right? They just showed us like a chart, a billboard filled with all these different pills and syringes and stuff like that. Like, we didn't know what was going on with that, right? First of all, kids don't even pay attention, have an attention span at all, right? So they're teaching us about this, like no one's paying attention. We just like hormones are kicking in, we're growing, we're like starting to have our first crushes, all stuff like that. Like we're not paying attention to what's going on, okay? Fifth grade, boom, that's it. They're done with that, okay? That was the end of it. They did not have they did not further the education throughout like sixth grade, middle school, high school. Like they didn't have like a mandatory class on, you know, anything about that or where you can end up, okay? Now, if they had done that, we might have been able to like prevent a lot of these things, right? So we go 0 to 100, prevention to people on the streets, hunched over, homeless, right? That's the process, right? So what I want to do, I'd like to create programs through my foundation that, you know, inform, educate the youth about like drugs and like what can happen to you, okay? Because besides the health issues, like this will destroy every single thing that you have. It will take every single thing that you have and care about, okay? And you'll do it and lose all that stuff without even thinking twice. You'll do whatever you got to do to get that one more, right? And I was just talking to somebody. I'm like, you know what? They didn't teach us anything else. Like it was never even like a big topic throughout middle school or high school, anything like that. Like they taught us in fifth grade and that was it. Like almost like, oh, we did our job here is done. But nobody even knows what they were talking about. I don't remember, right? So I am going to create programs that educate the youth about this stuff, because through my charity, I would like to cover from start to finish, you know, prevention. If we can prevent some of these people, like, it's almost like, you know, nobody cares. Like, I care, there's people that do care, but like, as far as governments and stuff like that, like, they don't actually care, okay? They don't care that their streets look like crap, their cities are a mess. They don't, okay? And people are losing their family members, mothers, fathers, spouses. Like this is happening on a daily basis. And some of the people, it wasn't by choice. It was something through an injury, okay? There's like two ways this can happen that I'm aware of, right? One is, you know, you get hurt and you're severely hurt and you have to take pain meds, which leads to an addiction. And like, you know, all of a sudden your month's supply is gone in 15 days and so on and so on. And next thing you know, it's too expensive. And then you move on to the cheaper stuff, which, you know, eventually will drain everything you have, take your family from you, take your house, take everything you love, and you end up out on the street, right? Or the other way is just somebody, you know, they made a wrong decision, which we all make wrong decisions on a daily basis, right? We all make wrong decisions on a daily basis. And some of us, you know, the consequences are more severe. You know, you and I went to that same party, you know, maybe had that same drink, or smoked, or, you know, had that same drug. The difference was that you were able to cut it off there and go to work and function in society. Some people like me, did it once and it kind of like filled that void that was missing. If you have never lived it, I can't explain this to you, okay? So people that tell you they know about addiction or what's going on, that read it in a textbook, if they're a counselor or whatever, like, yes, you can have all the information in the world, but whose information is that? Whose information is that? Something that like people had described to you and they wrote it down and came up with it in a textbook and now they're teaching that? No. Listen, if you have never been through addiction, you don't know what you're talking about, okay? So when you say like, oh, look at this guy, listen, yes, it breaks my heart too. I live in a nice city, nice neighborhood, and there's people out on the corners asking for money now. Like it's spreading inward into the suburbs, okay? And, you know, I don't like seeing that. You know, the kids got to see that. Like it's not something that I would like spreading, but it's happening, okay? And if we don't do something about it, it's going to show up at your doorstep one way or another, okay? And we all look at these people, right, and think like, you know, get a job, go to rehab, go to detox, listen, first of all, some are sicker than others. Some people don't want the help, okay? Some people would rather they're lifers. You know, I know people that are in their 50s, 60s that are lifers that have made it thus far, okay? But that's no way to live, right? Okay, so we look at the people and we're like, look at this guy, he doesn't care, he should go to rehab, there's a lot of things we can say he should do or she should do, okay? We don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what any person is going through, drug related or not. When you come in contact with anybody, any human being, you don't know what that person is going through, okay? No idea what that person is going through, okay? So that person that's struggling on the corner, maybe they don't have the resources. Maybe they don't have the options. Maybe they've been calling a rehab and detox every single day. That's another thing my charity is going to work on, right? Maybe they don't have beds open. You call a rehab, you call a detox, say, listen, I really need help right now. Like, I really need to get into somewhere. Like, please. And they're like, oh, we don't have any beds open. Try back in 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks, a lot can happen in 2 weeks. 1, you change your mind. 2, you end up in jail. 3, you end up, you don't wake up, okay? So those are the options. This is the reality. So some people may be trying to get the help, but can't get the help that they need. And you just stop judging people, okay? We don't know the pain that they're carrying. Another thing that I was just talking about with my friend is that, like, you go into these meetings, listen, these programs, 12-step programs, saved my life, okay? I wouldn't be here right now talking to you at this house in the mountains right now, okay? I wouldn't be here talking to you about this. But the 12-step program, they saved my life, and I just didn't like the way things, like, I started seeing things. I didn't like the way things were going in there, okay? It's not just one meeting, it was all of them. I know some people that are on methadone, right? And these people, okay, if you go back to what their life was like when they were out on the streets ripping and running, their life was completely unmanageable, out of control, rock bottom 24/7. That's the way that they were living, right? Now, these people, I know 2 people on methadone, right? Got their life together, a car, a job, have money. Like, they're killing it in life. They're killing it, right? So I was in a meeting one day and somebody was sharing, like, because it says, like, in their literature, what did it say? Any mind or mood altering substances. Alcohol is a drug, yes. Alcohol is my drug of choice and I can't drink ever, right? So any mind or mood altering substances. So now you hear that there's, like, the NA police, AA police, there's people that are on marijuana maintenance. That works for them, okay? That works for them. They're able to turn their life around, get their act together, et cetera, right? Get jobs and start companies. There's people like that. There's people that are on the methadone, like I just said, right? And then there's people that are maybe on subs or something like that that are doing amazing things today, okay? And one of the people raised their hand and shared after all their, like, literature they read about, any mind or mood altering substances, right? And this guy, he had 1 year clean, right? He was celebrating 1 year. And he said that he has 1 year clean and that he was doing something but would be frowned upon by NA and they don't consider him clean. Like, why are we letting NA or AA people, the NA police, AA police, why are we letting them dictate, like, oh, that guy's clean? They're, like, watching you counting. Like, that's not the way this is. Like, this is survival, okay? We are all out here trying to survive. I'm in a group chat with, like, family members and stuff like that. It's a group, it's a page. There's, like, a couple thousand people in there. Family members and active addicts, right? And I'm in there and, like, people are struggling, okay? People are struggling and it's so, so bad out there for them. And people are, like, watching, say, oh, this person's clean. Oh, no. Oh, they're smoking. They're doing that. Like, oh, they're not clean. Like, we're all trying to survive out here. We're all trying to get another day. That's it. We're all trying to get another day alive and not have an unmanageable life, okay? So this guy raised his hand talking about he had a year, but something like that what he was doing would be frowned upon in NA and they wouldn't consider him clean. Like, why are we worried about what NA is considering us or AA is considering us, right? They use that clean time and they throw that around and, like, People hear that and it pushes them out of the room. Like, I'm not accepted by this group of people because of things I'm doing. But at the same time, they are at that meeting trying to better their life, trying to get the help they need, right? And you're judging them and you're pushing them out there. Oh, you're smoking. Oh, you're on. Oh, you're on methadone. Oh, no, you're not. By our rules, nope, you're not clean. You're not. Listen, people are not waking up tomorrow because you guys are pushing them out the door, okay? It's not your business, their clean time. It is not your business, okay? Your business is your own clean time. And you know what? The thing about clean time, it's a gift and the curse, right? Like for me, I got 14 years. 14 years. Now, the longer you stay clean, right, the less likely you're going to want to give up that clean time, right? Like I got 14 years. I don't want to give that up. That's an accomplishment for me. That's something I did, okay, that most people cannot do, okay? So at the same time, that is one of the things that keeps me clean, right? It's my clean time. But at the same time, somebody goes out and uses it after 10 years, they're going to be like, I already gave up my clean time. I'll quit again tomorrow. I'll quit again tomorrow. Like, and it keeps them in active addiction. So it's like a gift and a curse. But they're like counting people's clean time and judging them, telling them if they're clean by NA or AA's rules when they're just trying to survive and get another day. Okay? I've seen amazing things that people have done with their life, turn their life around on things that AA and NA people do not consider clean. I mean, I got 14 years, okay? I'm just speaking on behalf of somebody else that I was just talking to about all this that has businesses. They're doing amazing things. They're on methadone. Like, good for them. Good for them. They're surviving. They know their mind. They know their body. They know their brain. And they're doing what's best for them. So do not let anybody push you out of the rooms of any 12-step programs. Hope everyone has an amazing evening. Look at this. Look at this. This is my company. I did this. I did this, okay? I was one of those people that you would step over on the street. You get a job, bum. I was one of those people. Now look at this. Ta-da.